Dear boomers, at this difficult time in American history, I want to tell you, as days go on, ways that you can take care of yourself. Self care has always been something that we, as nurses, over all the years, had been taught to implement into our lives as we deal with people who are dying, as we deal with difficult patients, meaning difficult to us, but not, they're just people and they're our people we take care of. Therefore, we need to implement ways to be strong within ourselves as we go forth in this difficult time. Now, today I'm going to talk about foot reflexology, and I'm sure people know what that is, but I've been a foot reflexologist for many years, and it is interesting how the feet have 70 acupuncture points that we can learn what they are. And really, you don't even have to learn what they are. All you have to do is do several things to increase circulation to your whole body by doing these wonderful pressure points yourself, and do it every day and several times a day. And it actually improves circulation, as I said. It improves sleep patterns. It increases physical and mental well-being, and also alleviates chronic conditions such as sinusitis and digestive upset. Just as a case in point, I did the foot reflexology to a patient of mine who had constipation. And I remember, doing the foot massage and pinpointing the points on her feet that hopefully would relieve the hardened stool. And also, she needed to do that in order to deliver her baby. So, as she's a day or maybe 5 hours later or so, I saw that she was being rolled back to the operating room, probably because she needed a C-section, as I recall. And I went up to her to wish her luck, and she grasped my hand. She said, "You saved me. I had a good bowel movement." And I said, "Okay, thank you." It is wonderful to work with an experienced foot reflexologist, but you don't need to do that. All you have to do, you can touch the sinusitis part is when you press the balls of each toe, and you do that systematically, and it relieves your sinus congestion, and it helps to give energy to your whole body, as said. And so, as we treat ourselves with self-reflexology, we are taking care of ourselves. And we can do this before we get up in our bed, prior to or after our meditation, hopefully. And we can do it as we relaxed and we are going to bed. The soles of our feet are very dynamic, and you can get one of those firm balls with little, spikes. I don't mean spikes that pierce, but spikes that massage, and you can roll your feet on that, and that is a good way to do it. It's probably better to do it yourself, but if you can't reach your feet, as sometimes happens when we get older, then you can just roll your feet on these balls, and it does help tremendously. As we were discussing in the Walking Well seminar the other day, which I thoroughly enjoyed, we were talking about how the Amish walk barefoot. So they are naturally grounding themselves as they do this. They may not, or I think they might know that because the Amish are very in tune with holistic health. So as they walk barefoot on the ground, they are balancing themselves. Well, we can do the same thing with barefoot, but be careful. You might step on some glass, or you might hurt yourself, and we don't want that to happen. So, you can massage the ball of your foot and the arch and the heel. And if you find a tender area, keep going back to that tender area and keep moving through it. And that tender area could indicate a blockage in your body or some other distress or dysfunction occurring in the corresponding areas of the body. So when we're touching, as I just mentioned, you're touching the balls of each toe, and that corresponds to the sinuses. There's a corresponding point to the kidneys, to the heart, to the lungs, to the adrenals, to and of course none of these areas of the body are separate from any other body. So what when you're clearing out something in one part of the body, you're actually helping the whole body to clear. It's a purification, it's a cleansing, it's a rejuvenation, it's a transformation. So, and also it can stimulate your pituitary and pineal glands. Now, I remember when my mother was dying, I thought that if I would, and she was in a coma, she had had a stroke, and she wanted to, she was on her way out, but I thought, oh, if I could massage her pituitary gland on her foot, maybe she'll come back. However, she was determined and she went her own way. And so when you have a painful area in your foot that corresponds to a major organ or gland, then you might want to investigate that gland and that organ and do some research as to what is going on. So self-care is what we need right now. And you don't want to be in a fearful state. We need to be strong so we can join pro-democracy movements. And that when the younger people are doing their work of getting the country back to pro-democracy, which is they need boomers to support them, which I think we will. We can't do that if we're in a weakened state. We can't do that if we don't have determination. We can't help anybody if we're not helping ourselves. So there it is. We can continue to support ourselves with a sense of wellness and vitality. So the ankles and the feet, as described in the seminar I took with Bruce Furtman and Michael Gelb, described how to visualize loosening the ankles and using the feet almost as a sense of dance. And to do that every time you walk, as when I get up and I walk across the room to make Pearlie's little medicine dish, I need to loosen my ankles and I need to let my feet touch the ground in a state of grace. And that is what it's all about. We need to use our feet as a way to heal the whole body. I described that in the Walking Well video I did recently, and that was so enlightening. And I think that as we move on, the more we do things like this, the more we learn about ourselves, the more we feel in harmony with our greater sense of source, which is not rooted in the physical world. And I think the election makes people think that, understandably, that everything is doomed. Of course, the right-wing people are very happy, and let them be happy. We need to be happy too, and we need to do that through loving ourselves, through being a source of strength for our younger generations, and for being a model of love, pure love, as Angela Mears whispers to her father after she died. Pretty soon I'll be posting that second video that John and I did together. I didn't want to do it today. I wanted to talk about the feet. The feet! By God. Who would have thought? And also you can do the same thing on your hands. There are corresponding points, pressure points on your hand that correspond to the other parts of the body. So if you can't reach your feet, which I just mentioned, you can use the balls of each finger to correspond to the organs or to the sinuses. If you have a headache, take this part here, right here, right here, and press it lightly, really, until you feel a pulsation, and just breathe with the pulsation. And more likely than not, that feeling, the headache, will dissipate. And it dissipates it's almost like a flow. It flows away. It flows away. So therefore, that's the part for the headaches. And here we just keep taking care of ourselves in every way possible with just love. It's all love. There's going to be a video that shows up here. Enjoy it. And until tomorrow, bye-bye.